Hi, hello, welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are well. Just to introduce myself, my name is Liana and I am a beginner sewer, knitter, and I dabble in a little bit of lifestyle and beauty. And welcome to my YouTube channel. So, welcome back to episode 3 of What the Needles. And this episode will be titled, I've been purling wrong this whole time. So we're going to jump in. And so today, before we jump in, today we'll be talking about, I have some finished knits, I have some whips, and I also have some acquisitions, and I also have a few sewing items. So I'm very excited to share. Okay, now we can jump in. All right, update. So, I've been purling wrong this whole time. That's the update. I am 4 projects in, and yeah, so it is the joy of being a beginner, right? Like, I taught myself how to knit. I learned off YouTube. It's the joys of being a beginner. So so I've been purling wrong. How I figured that out is my good friend Caitlin was, we are working on the Roomy Raglan together. And I sent her a photo of my, and I will put the photo here. I sent her a photo of my gauge swatch, and the first thing she was like, I may be looking at the photo wrong, but I think your stitches are twisted. And I was like, what? What do you mean? And it was like really late at night. So I was like, you know what? This is a problem for future Liana. So I'll figure it out tomorrow. So the next day I did some Googling, and turns out I was purling wrong. So it was just the simple like way of either, instead of throwing my yarn, like basically like laying my yarn on the needle, how you purl to come around, I was going the opposite direction. So love that for me. Yippee. But I will insert a photo of, so I have a photo of the mixed rib gauge swatch, and then I redid it. I redid it just to almost like practice on how to purl again. And so I'll insert that as well. But that's my update. It's the joy of being a beginner, right? Like, there's some beauty in that too. I think that in our hobbies or in our crafts, like, if you're not learning, what are you doing? If you can't go to Bella Noche's, where can you go? Sorry. My bad. The joys of learning. The joys of learning. So you're never too, the moral of the story is you're never too old to learn. And knitting is always going to keep you on your toes. So welcome to the club. If you like that, welcome to the club. So anyway, yes, that is my brief update on and why this title is called, or why the title of this episode is called I've Been Purling Wrong, because that's what I've been doing. Okay, so now that we're done with our updates, I don't have any more updates, but now that we're done with our updates, we are going to jump into our finished items. So yay! All right, we're back. We're back with some finished items. So I'm so proud of myself. I'm so happy it's done. But I have finished the Isle sweater by Ozetta. And so, yes. So I casted this on February 22nd. Oh, February 2nd. I casted this on February 2nd. And I finished it March 17th. So a little over a month and some change. I used about 8.5 of the 8.5 balls of the Knitting for Olive Heavy Merino and Cream. I originally bought 10 balls, but I bought that because I'm always like, I'd rather have more than less. So yes, those are like the highlights. So some notes. I'm not sure how I feel about this sweater. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not sure. Um, a few thoughts. My first thought is, so in the pattern, I don't know, um, the pattern was written very well. It was written very well. But I think sometimes there is a few challenges when a pattern is let me see, is written too well. And so what I mean by that is I got to the German short rows and I realized that like they are beautifully written out. Like if you ever like I need to work on my German short rows, I think this is the pattern to do it. So I just kept missing some steps. And I think that is what the problem was. So I missed a couple of steps in the steps that were written out for the German short row. So it was just becoming a little frustrating to me. So I had already printed out this specific pattern because I knew it was going to be a lot. So I literally had to go into that section and cross off as I went, like cross off between the commas as I went to make sure I got everything because it just wasn't turning out exactly right. Also, I think I was also very used to the M1L and M1R type style increases. And so this pattern is a yarn over and a backwards yarn over. And so that one was new for me. I kept seeing it in that pattern, so I had to redo some sections a couple of times. And that was one of them. Because I kept missing the yarn over and the backwards yarn over as well. I also had to do some Googling and YouTube searches to figure out like what that actually meant. And so yes, once I figured it out, it was fine. But sorry, there's something weird going on with my hair. But once I figured that out, it was completely fine. I had no issues. So yeah, so I really liked it. I think my other note is on the sleeves. I only did 6 increases. I know I at the end I had 60 stitches on my needle when I think I was supposed to have 54 for the I believe I made the medium size, which is fine. I think I was fine because I don't know if I had enough arm length to do that extra decrease. So I just stopped at 60 stitches. So yeah, overall, I think I need to block it. So I haven't blocked it yet. So that's why it still looks a bit stuffy. I know I did the ribbing on the bottom, the bind off. I know I did that too tight. So I'm hoping to get some extra room when I block it. So that is my Isle sweater by Ozetta. Would I recommend it? Yes, I would recommend it. I don't know if it's one of her popular patterns. Like I think the Lakes pullover is like going viral at the minute. And so if you're looking for a project that's not too popular, but it has like well-written instructions, I think I would recommend the Isle sweater. So yes, that is my only finished item and I'm super happy about it. in terms of it being finished. It was a bit of an oversized sweater, so it does come with a lot of positive ease. So that is something to also keep in mind as well. So yeah, okay. I'm going to keep rambling about my finished item if I don't move on. So we're going to jump into some whips that I have. So, okay. Alrighty, we are back with our whips. So we have 2 whips for this episode. So one of them is the Roomy Raglan by Jules Efterfield. And so I know it is a very, very popular pattern, and it's also free. So that makes it also very exciting. And so I am working on, this is a like a 2-person knit along with my friend Caitlin, and so we are knitting this together. So it's kind of like a really long knit along, just because life happens, and with life there are a lot of, sometimes life is just life, right? So we have a long way to winter. So we are taking our time on this project. So you might see this project in the next podcast or the next few podcasts as well. So I am using the yarn that was recommended on Ravelry by Jules, which is the ecological wool, and then I'm holding it together with the blue sky fibers. So and they're on Ravelry, but I'll also put it on the screen as well. And yeah, so I recently split for the sleeves, which was unintentional. So I think the hardest part of this pattern, and I think with any like raglan, is getting through the yoke. And so the yoke on this one, it needs to measure to about 12 inches. And I didn't realistically think 12 inches was really long until I started doing the pattern, and I was like, this is really long. So one day I just sat down on the couch and I was like, I am going to get through these 12 inches. And so that led to me continuing on in the project. So I'm waiting for my friend to catch up so we can do this together. And so if she's watching this, again, I'm sorry, Caitlin. I let the knitting bug get me too close to the sun. So that is my Roomy Raglan, and I'll hold it up just so you can see it. Holding the mic and holding the pattern or the thing that I'm working on was so hard for me last podcast, but I'm going to try it again. I'm going to keep trying until I get it right. Okay, hold on. Let me see. So I have, like I said, I've split for sleeves. I did put it on pause, just to, continue the knit along. So that is my first one. I don't have any notes currently. I think it's a great pattern. It is free. So, I tend to go with the mindset when the pattern is free, I'm like, yes, I have opinions, but it is free, right? So the only thing I had to pay for was the yarn. So I don't have any major notes at this moment in time. It's been a fun knit. So I would recommend it. Like if you're looking for a nice knit along, with like a couple of friends or something, I really recommend the, Roomy Raglan. Okay. So my next whip is a summer/spring item. So I have 2. So I made a make 9, but I made the make 9 with some intention. So I tried to like go through all of the seasons and try to figure out like 1 or 2 things that I could knit for the seasons of the year. And so these two were kind of like spring, summer. I think there's another one, the petite knit. I think it's a tee, like a t-shirt. I think that one is also on my Make 9, but I might change that one because the Be Creatives, I think her name is, on YouTube. I will add her down here somewhere. She just came out with a tee, and I really like the makeup of it. And so it just got done with testing. I think it will release April 4th. So I'm hoping to maybe not do the petite knit and do that one. So yeah, but here is my, sorry, I got ahead of myself. So my other whip is the Florence Miller mixed rib cami. So I am knitting this in Knitting for Olive merino poppy blue, and so I have 3 balls all together. I don't think I'll need all of them, but just from doing some research, I just decided to get 3. I'd rather be safe than sorry. I'm not a fan of yarn chicken. Boo, yarn chicken. So when I can avoid it, I'm going to avoid it. Yeah, so I think this pattern called for 3mm needles, and so I am knitting this on a 3.5, which is a little scary. And so this is the first time I'm not doing a gauge swatch. I just kind of jumped in. So we'll see. That's why I'm like, I have 3 projects that I want to do for this spring and summer. So I won't be like too upset if I'm a little off gauge. I won't make it a habit of this. I'm going to say that now. I'm not planning on eating my words, but I'm not going to make a habit of this because it's stressing me out. So yes, here is my, progress so far. Yeah, so that's my progress. It's not that much. I don't have that much done. I really am enjoying it. I think it took me a minute to get used to working with smaller needles because I usually don't work with really small needles. So that's taken me a bit of time to get used to. But overall, I'm really enjoying the process. Working flat is always a little difficult for me, but since I relearned how to purl, it's not that hard. I think before when I was knitting flat, I think I was running into the issue of it just looking a little wonky, but I wasn't quite sure. And that's been one of the beautiful things about knitting with someone else, because I usually knit by myself. There's not a community of knitters in the town that I live in, which is fine. And so I'm very happy that my friend Caitlin pointed that out to me because I would have never known. I like sometimes it's like kind of like an echo chamber, right? Like when you're doing something by yourself or learning something new by yourself. And so I am very grateful to have a second pair of eyes to be like, hey, actually, I want you to thrive. And to thrive, I think you're doing that wrong. And that's fine with me. So, yeah, so those 2 are my whips. And I have, I've, yeah, those are my whips. I was getting ahead of myself. So yeah, overall, I'm in a good place to thrive and hopefully get these done. So yes, okay. We are going to move on to acquisitions. And I'm not trying to fly through this, but I don't have I have a lot to say, but so I'll just say it, and then after that, I don't have anything. So if you're like, yeah, you're moving through this a little fast, it's just because I literally wrote down what I wanted to say because I can ramble. So, and I'm doing it now. So we're going to move on to acquisitions. Okay. Okay, we are back with acquisition. So I only have one acquisition at this current moment, and it is some knitting for Olive, pure silk in the color Pink Daisies. So here we are. It's a beautiful color. It's a beautiful color. It's a pink, and so I am intending on doing the Sabai top. Yeah. So I know that was very popular last year. And I really wanted to do it, but I think I was just like working on some sweaters. I wanted to get some sweaters done. And I think maybe I was working on a few scarves, I think. But I've recently started getting a little bit faster. Oh, also, I know why. I was also a little bit slower in terms of knitting up items. So I think this year I've slowly gotten a little bit better at my timing and a little bit of my speed. I think that just comes with like working in the round. So I am excited to start the Sabe top. I think hopefully I'll maybe start that one once I kind of get midway through the Florence Miller mixed rib cami. So yeah, I hope to do so this one will probably be more like a summer instead of a spring. But that's okay, because I can still wear both up until the fall. And then I might be able to do like a t-shirt moment as well with either one of them, but we'll see. We'll see, because it might like it's a 50-50. It could look really, they both could look really good with a t-shirt underneath, or they could look really bad. So yeah, but a cardigan could also work too. So yeah, so I would have had more acquisitions, but because I started the mixed rib cami, um I only have one. So I do have some acquisitions in terms of sewing, but I kind of want to do like a little sewing corner. So those are my all of my knitting items. I've been doing it, trying to focus on knitting during the week and then sewing during the weekends just to have more time. I do work a full-time job, so having time, pulling out all of my sewing items during the week is sometimes difficult. I in the future Liana, whenever Liana gets like an actual house, maybe she'll have a sewing room. So then we can, do some sewing during the week. But as right now, present Liana does not have space for a sewing room. So yeah. Okay. Moving on, I'm going to transition into the sewing corner part of the podcast, and I have some finished items, so I'm very excited. All right, we are back in the sewing corner of the podcast. And so if I'm leaning over a little bit, it's because I want to make space for editing Liana to put a video here. So one of my finished items is the Kite pants by Matchy Sewing Club. And so I made a size 4, which was not my correct size. And I realized it was the wrong size, so I did make some adjustments. So they're a bit wider than I think the pattern actually like kind of calls for. So what I did was I took it apart and I added 3 inches on the sides and on the waistband. And so now they fit, and they're not as beautiful as I was intending them to be. But I think because they're black, which I made them in a black poppy linen or black poppy cotton, sorry. Since I made them in black, you can't really tell. But when I originally made them, I was like, the side seams are all beautiful. But I think in the midst of ripping them apart in terms of seam ripping them, I was a little frustrated, and so we don't have any like beautiful top stitching. I think I said side seams, but I meant top stitching. But that's okay because they still look really good and I'm still very proud of them. And I think that, with sewing, I'm trying to either make it good or either what I forgot the saying that I was trying to do. But anyway, they're not perfect. And if I keep waiting for them to be perfect, they're not going to get done. So I did my best and I'm so happy with my effort, and I'm working up the courage to wear them outside because they actually don't look bad. And so, yeah, I think if I would make this pattern, I recommend this pattern. The instructions are written beautifully. Like when I say beautifully, beautifully, like I usually am a type of girly who needs a video to kind of walk me through it. I think Sydney Graham does a really good job at her video instructions. And so far with Matchy Sewing Club, they do a beautiful job with their written instructions and their visuals. So yeah, I would definitely recommend the Kite pants. I know they're popular, so um, maybe this recommendation doesn't matter, but I'm gonna recommend. And I am going to make them in some different material, maybe like a heavier weight bottom for like fall or maybe even winter. So yeah, but I think the poplin. I keep saying poppy. I think it's poplin. Um, anyway, the fabric that they're in now, I think it'll work good for um, spring and summer, especially because I work in an office space and it is still chilly. It's cold in there during the summertime. Um, so yeah, so those are my finished items. I don't have anything in terms of like works in progress. So we are going to skip ahead to acquisitions and I will let you know what else I'm planning to make. Okay, so we are back with our acquisitions. So I am planning on making the Skyline dress by Sydney Graham. And I am super excited to make it because I really like the mock up of the dress, or like how the dress is designed. You can do tiers or you can do regular, just like one straight bottom. And so for that pattern, I have two types of fabric here. I'm going to talk about this one first. And this one I am intending, so I'm going to make two dresses. So that's the first fabric. I really like this plaid. Like a part of me is like, it feels like a picnic table or a picnic blanket, but I just really love it. And every time I see it at the store, I'm like, I really want to make something out of that. So I'm going to make a skyline dress. I have showed the fabric to some of my friends and family, and it is a 50-50. Like some people are like, oh, I don't like that. And then some people are like, I really like it. I can see the vision. So at the end of the day, my opinion is the only one that matters. So I really like it. And so I'm going to make a skyline dress. And so that's this one. And then my second fabric that I'm going to make it out of is this beautiful blue gingham, which I'm very happy. Bit of a tangent, but I realized that Michael's has a knit and sew shop as their advertising. It is not very good. It is not very good. Like I think they acquired Joann's and it's not giving Joann's energy. I don't know what it's giving, but it's not working. So, if I like to shop in person, and we don't have any other fabric stores in my area other than Hobby Lobby's and Michael's. I think I got to travel at least 30 plus minutes to find a fabric shop. So I hope to make it out to one of those one day. But yeah, so Michael's is not the move. So I'm shopping at Hobby Lobby. And Hobby Lobby has some cute stuff. So yeah, so I am intending on working on the skyline dress this weekend. I do have to reprint out the pattern. And I think this jumps into something that I recently found interesting. So I know that Cindy Graham has a video on like basically the difference between your size, the size that you pick, and then the size of the finished garment, and like why pattern makers put the measurements to the finished garment in the instructions. And so if you haven't watched that video, I really recommend that you go watch that video because it was very informative. And so what I've been doing is I've been picking a size and then figuring out, like going to look at the finished garment measurements to see how it would actually fit. And I think the only thing that I would add to that, and I think this is what made the kite pants fit come out differently than expected. The kite pants are like loose fitting, right? They're meant to be a little bit roomier. And so just accounting for that. So the finished garments account for that. But in my head, I wasn't accounting for that, if that makes sense. So from that challenge, I went back. So I originally had, I believe, a size 4 in the Cindy Graham pattern. Either a size 6. I think it was a size 6. I need to, I have my journal, but I don't have it right here beside me. But nonetheless, the size that I got was going to be a little bit snug in the breast area. So I wanted it to fit a little bit looser. So I'm going to do a size 8. So I need to reprint out the beginning part of the pattern. So yeah, and I'm going to plan on making my own, what is it called? Binding? I forgot what it's called, but, so yeah, I'm very excited for those. I hope they go well. I'm going to work on them this weekend. And so, yeah, hopefully in my next podcast, I'll have a finished item, 2 finished items. So we'll see. Okay. I think I have covered it all. And yeah, so thank you for coming to episode 3. I hope you found this informative or fun or just enjoying to watch. I will say thank you so much for if you've watched the first 2 episodes. I really appreciate it. If you haven't watched the first 2 episodes, please go watch them. And yeah, so before I leave you, please like and subscribe. I really enjoy interacting with the few subscribers that I have. So if you feel led to join the community, I'd be happy to chat with you in the comments. Please let me know what you're making in the comments. And yes, so friend to friend, I'll see you later. Okay. Bye. Have a good day.